Okay. All righty. I know most of you, but I'm just gonna do a spiel anyway. So I want to say good morning and thanks so much for joining us. I hope everybody had a great weekend and ready to tackle the week we have ahead of us. For those of you who don't know, I'm Colleen Foxton, Provider Liaison with Claremont County Board of DD, and I will be hosting the presentation today. If you could in the chat box, if you can type in your name and also what agency you're with or what your role is, you can put that in there for us so we can all get to know each other without doing it all verbally with each other to save some time. And if you want to use the chat box to ask any questions throughout the presentation, you are welcome to. Amy, I don't know how you kind of do your thing. I don't know if you let people just interrupt you or you want to wait, but we can use the chat box there.
Yeah, I cannot I'm not capable of monitoring the chat at the same time that I'm
I
talking,
could
but
do that.
you're welcome to interrupt me. I'm fine with
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I could do that for you. And then if we don't have any answers, we can get those for you and then give it to you afterwards. So I just want to introduce Amy from Easter Seals Greater Houston, and she's going to be talking to us about their Bridging Apps program. Amy, your turn.
Okay, so yes, I am Amy Fuchs. I am with Easter Seals. If you know anything about Easter Seals, it is an organization that has been around for 100+ years nationally. The one here in Houston is 76 years old, and we serve a huge area. If you know anything about the Houston area, it is just massive. So from one side to the other and north to south of Houston. So really almost all the way down to Galveston to the coast. So very big area. And we have 12 programs. Easter Seals, of course, traditionally served, it used to be United Cerebral Palsy. And so people still kind of connect it with that idea of really severely disabled, physically disabled people, but we actually serve people of all abilities from cradle to grave. So we have a really robust ECI program. We're one of the largest providers of ECI in this area. We also have a veterans program, so we serve veterans with all kinds of needs, and sometimes just because they're trying to get back on their feet. We're actually really doing a neat project really close to my heart where Bridging Apps is serving some veterans who are in substance abuse recovery, and we are helping them learn how to use technology. So it's just really amazing. We serve a variety of people. And Bridging Apps, as I just said, works with technology. So we focus we do some of the traditional assistive technology, some of the bigger things, so screen readers and those kind of things. But we really, most of our work focuses on mobile technology. So what I'm going to show you today is we have a couple of websites that we manage, and I'm just going to show you from our main website where we have a lot of resources, and then I'm going to show you our app database. And so that's the part that I think is really going to be helpful for you. Let me open that up and give you a little peek, and then we'll start talking about how we manage that and what it all means. I'm just going to do my full screen here because I actually am going to go back and forth. I do have a PowerPoint, but I don't really like to use PowerPoint. So I'll show you a couple of things on it, but mostly we're going to walk through the live website. So this is our main site. It's really easy to remember, bridgingapps.org. As you can see, we are a program of Easter Seals, but we run a separate web identity because we have so many resources. So we're the only program of Easter Seals Greater Houston that is able to do that. So here we have a blog. Our blog is very, very active. We have all of the socials. We have a really robust YouTube channel. So I'll show you a couple of things from that if we get a chance, but I definitely think it's something to look at, something that might be a good resource for anybody, yourself, people you work with. And today we're going to focus, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have things popping up here because I'm using the whole screen. So today we're just going to focus on the app search. Let me close this part out. Okay. So when you go to bridgingapps.org, you can get to our app database in two different ways. So you can start here with app search and go down to find an app, or you can scroll down here. We have a lot of information about the database, and then you can just click app search. They both get you to the same place. And this is our app search database. So, oh, gracious. I know I'm going to mess up because I'm sharing my whole screen. It just makes it easier when jumping around. Okay, so this is our app database. You can see here that you can just search by keyword or diagnoses. We have all kinds of ways to sort and filter down here. Um, Lots of different categories. So we do a lot with independent living. We try to focus a lot on the kind of transition age, but we also keep these in mind for everybody. So, older adults who are aging in place and maybe starting to need some help with memory care and those kind of things, as well as our young adults that we want, to be as independent as possible. So lots of different things in here. Health and safety. We do a lot with mental health. We always have, but especially since the pandemic, like everybody else, we've really spent a lot of time focusing on that. So a lot of different ways to filter. I am going to start by showing you an app review and kind of give you the anatomy of an app review. So this app is, and I knew the name of it, so I just typed in the name. You can always search that way. So this app is Can Plan. It is a task analysis app, and it can also be used for scheduling. So we really like this one. It's great for a lot of different age groups. One of the best parts about it is that it is free. It is free to download, and then for a long time, the full version was $14.99. And so after you download it, there's a part where you can just go in and download the full version, which gives you access to unlimited task analysis that you can create and save. But right now, it's been free for a little while. So for whatever reason, they have maybe gotten some extra funding and they were able to offer it for free. I have not checked it this morning, but the last time I did check, it was free. So I always tell people, if you're going to download it, check that. If it's free, go ahead and get it because it can't hurt. You're not losing any money on it. So I'm going to show you what like I said, our app anatomy of the app review, and then I'll kind of talk about the particular app. So this one, when you go to an app review, you're going to see these stars up here. Sometimes they're not filled in. If none of them are filled in at all, that doesn't mean we gave it a 0 rating. It means we have not rated it yet. So that's a great way to see if we've actually reviewed it. And the way we just rewrote our system about a year ago. So the way it works now is that if it doesn't have any stars and we haven't rated it, then it's also not going to have this review tab here because we do the reviews and the ratings together. So that's a great way to tell. So all of the apps are going to have this description tab, which is what the developer puts into the App Store, and our system pulls it directly into us. So we'll start with the review because this one has been reviewed. We always talk about in the review what the app was intended to do, and then who we used it with. So this one you can see we used it with ages 10 to 12. And then we kind of talk about some of the diagnoses, the activities we did with them. That's something really important to note also. All of our reviews, they're not just written by our team, they're written by people across the country, and they all have to be people who either have a disability themselves, are caregivers of someone with a disability, or someone who works with people with disabilities. So I review some of the apps because I'm a former special education teacher. I taught for 13 years. And so I have a lot of experience with autism and actually a lot of different kinds of diagnoses. Just because of the jobs that I worked. And so I do review apps sometimes through that lens of, if I were in the classroom, what might I be doing? And then we always get someone to try it with children that's actually, in the classroom, because I'm not right now. So again, our users trust that we are creating reliable app reviews. We're not just making it up. And of course, the point of reviewing any of these is to show them through that lens of the disability. So we know what the developer intended for it to do, for the general public, and we want to see exactly how it might work for our people. And sometimes we find out things and uses for it that maybe the developer didn't even think of. It happens a lot, actually. So we talk about what we did with it. We talk about, the cost. If there are any in-app purchases, again, when we wrote this, it was $14.99 for the unlimited task, but it has been free for, I think, a couple of months now. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. We did contact them and haven't heard back, but right now it's a great deal because it's free. We always talk about who could benefit from using the app. So in this one, of course, children, adults, and seniors with special needs. Um, if you've worked with any older adults, you know that eventually you do have some kind of special need. They do end up, just those aging kind of related disabilities, vision, and those kind of things. And then, we put in particular, it's an excellent choice for teaching and scheduling tasks. For different disabilities. This is where we can actually embed videos and recordings. This particular recording is from a podcast that we contribute to from one of the other Easter Seals organizations. It's the Indata Project in Indiana. So if you want to check out their podcast, they have a great one. The segment that we contribute to is called An App Worth Mentioning. So that's what this is. We try to put lots of different ways to read and hear the reviews when we have that available to us. The description, like I said, is just exactly what the developer says about it. We love that we try to remind people, hey, review what they said with what we said. Maybe because we have that disability experience, we look at things a little differently, and maybe it doesn't work in the way they thought it might for certain populations. The features are a really neat little checklist that we've added where we can go in on the backside of the website and we can mark things that we think are really important to people. So this one, it's very easy to use. It has a very short setup time. You can customize it, all those kind of things that our parents and caregivers really look for, because there's nothing worse than getting a new app and being excited about it and realizing it takes you like 2 hours to set everything up for the user to be able to use it. And, and sometimes that is the case, especially when there's like a caregiver login and then the front end that the user uses looks different. So we try to, give people kind of a heads up about that. The media, these are going to be the screenshots and things that are from the App Store, and I'm going to use this to kind of explain how this works. So this particular app, you can probably get an idea because the first picture is of washing clothes. This is a great task analysis app. You can actually use the camera of your device to take pictures and create that task analysis just right there in the device. So it's really neat because you can make a task one step or 15. And so you can make it as simple or as complicated as it needs to be. I love this example because this is one of them that actually comes loaded in the app for you to see how it works. And I always tell people like, yeah, it's there for you. It's ready to use. But if I use this in my house, we don't have a front loading washing machine. So my children will be completely confused right away. So that's kind of just pointing out that importance, and us for people who work with people with disabilities, we think of that, but sometimes the caregivers aren't thinking like how those little details can make a difference. So kind of the importance of using your own pictures. I also love this one because whatever you type in here, where it says wash clothes, it's where they typed in the words wash clothes. When you click that speak button, it speaks it for you. You don't have to record your voice. Everything you type in there, it automatically speaks. You can hit start and watch it like as a kind of a slideshow. So the person can just page through each part once they're done with it. You can make it where they have to mark it done. So you can go back and check later and see if they actually did that skill or did that task. It also shows here how they set it up like a schedule, really. So this is where you can create as many tasks as you want to, and then you can pull them in and add them. On Monday, they need to do these. Maybe you're not going to have wash clothes on every day, but you can put it on the days it needs to be done. I love the one about charging your phone because that is something that when we were growing up, we never had to think of. But now if you are raising teenagers and young adults and they're going to be living on their own, charging their phone is very important if that is the only link they have to the world. So I love having that task in there and just that reminder for them. So this is a really, really helpful app, again, for lots of different populations. Um, and then the user feedback is where people who are any users we have can actually rate the app themselves. So you can see when I hover over it, it starts to light up the stars. I'm not going to do this because I don't want to skew the rating, but I'm actually logged in right now. So to explain a little bit of that to you, right here you can see it says hello bridging apps because I am logged in one of our bridging apps accounts. I'm going to log out and show you what that looks like. So when you are first visiting the page, there's this option here to sign in, and you can click on this, why sign up, and it'll explain everything to you, but I'm just going to save you the time and tell you now. We have a very simple sign-in process. So you're going to go to sign up, email, password, and then continue. It will send you an email to verify your account, but that's not going to keep you from being able to use the site. So all you have to give us is this. We don't take any extra information. And what it does when you sign up, you can see I have a lot of accounts. What it does when you sign up and create an account is that it allows you to save searches and make your own app list. So I'm going to show you some of our app list in a little bit, but just to give you an idea here, the saved searches I think is one that people don't think of immediately. So I like to really explain it. When you are filtering everything and you're searching for an app, especially people who work with certain populations all the time, you might go in and you might always look for transition age. You might always be looking for job preparation, job skills, something like that. And once you've kind of typed in some things and marked a lot of filters, and that's going to be the same thing you're searching for each time, or that you're going to search for it pretty regularly, this allows you to save that search. So I can show you some of them that I have saved. So this one, we typed in dyslexia. I meant to save it as elementary, but I did not. So I'm going to refresh that save. So you can see, let me change that. You can see that when you have your searches here, you have all your filters. If you click that save search, it lets you save it. So I'm going to save that one as elementary dyslexia. And so the next time I go to search, the really helpful thing is that if I'm an elementary school teacher and I work with a lot of kids with dyslexia, the next time I go in and look at this search, I might see that Lexico was the top app the last time I searched, but now InQ and MDA of Oz are there. So that means either those are brand new or they've just been updated. So it helps me kind of see what's new because our default system is to filter everything from newest to oldest. So I like to share with people, like, you never know, like mental health apps, they're always adding new mental health apps. If that's an area that you really look for, you might want to save that search so you can just easily go back to it. So again, just another convenience for caregivers. The saved app list, for the same thing, we do a lot of mental health work. So, these are some of our mental health apps that we've saved on a list. You can also save lists that we've created. So I'm going to show you in a minute some of our transition lists that we've created that people really like for this population with cognitive intellectual disabilities. I'm going to show you, and you can actually save those on your own in your own account. So these mental health apps, I have this list here, and maybe I know someone who is really struggling or really working with a group that's struggling and needs some help with some of these. I can actually just share this list with them. And the person I share it with does not have to be signed in. Of course, we want everybody to create an account, but they don't have to create an account. They don't have to be signed in. So as a team, people who are working together like to create these lists and then share them with each other. So when you click share, you can do Facebook, email, Twitter, Pinterest. You can just copy the link. So if you're looking at it on your phone, you can copy it and text it to someone, however you want to share it. So that's just kind of a benefit of being logged in. You can only do that if you have an account, and you can also only rate the apps if you have an account. So I'm going to go back to CanPlan. I have it open here actually, and show you a couple more features here. So over here on the left where you have the icon, we like having this icon here because that really helps our users match it up to what's in the App Store. If you haven't noticed, app developers are starting to kind of mimic each other. So if there's an app that's really, really, really popular, somebody else might try to copy that and make a very similar name for it. So we just like for people to be able to say, yes, this is the one I was looking at on Bridging Apps. This is what I want. To make it even easier, we actually have this direct download button. When you click that, you can see that a box pops up, and this one is only available on the Apple Store. So that is all that's going to the only option that's going to come up. We also do have things for the Android store, and we also have web-based apps now. So some of them will have 3 links, some of them will only have 1. So if you click on this, it takes you directly to the Apple Store, and you can download it right there. So again, if you're on your phone, on your iPad, just makes it really convenient for getting that app. Here is a way where you can add it to your list from here. So again, I could add this to whatever list I have saved or going for transition for those kind of skills. And then it also has its own share button for single apps. So you can save it all those same ways you can share the list. This is all like the nitty gritty stuff, but it's really, really important. So the price, of course, is 0. This one does have in-app purchases. As I mentioned earlier, right now that in-app purchase is free, unless it changed overnight. It is developed by the University of Victoria. Oh, do you have a question? Is there a question, Colleen? Oh, okay, sorry. I thought I heard somebody. This one's developed by the University of Victoria. It's really, it's been around for a while. They do a great job keeping it up. But we have that link there if you wanted to go and read about them, or maybe in some cases, what other apps developers make. The update date, a lot of people don't realize really how important this is. If you are an iPhone user, for example, like I am, my phone has updated, it feels like about 30 times in the last 2 weeks. I mean, it's not that much, but they update really, really often. So people really don't think about, or maybe don't understand, that if an app is not being updated, not that often, but regularly, at least once a year, those kind of things, then that app may start to lose some of its function because it's not going to be matched up with the operating system. So we always try to tell people, take a look at this app. This one, the last time it was updated by the developer was the end of May 2022. That's pretty good. If you are about to spend money on an app and it says it hasn't been updated maybe since 2017, I would think twice about that, because that's a long time for an app to go, and as many operating system changes as we've had since then, for Android and Apple. The official app means that we've reviewed it. And then, of course, we have the supported platform. So this one is only Apple, but it is formatted for iPad and iPhone. So that's important to know. So that's kind of the anatomy of the app review. You can see there's a lot of content in there. We have a lot of caregivers who just really depend on being able to go to our apps database and say, what does Bridging Apps think about it? Now, we don't have every app that's available. We have about 2,700 right now, and they are not all reviewed. So we do our best to, add them as we hear about them, as people are telling us that they're really useful to them, and then review them as quickly as possible. So that's probably a good place to pause and see if any questions have come in. Are there anything in the chat or anything, Colleen? Okay. Let's close this one out. So I'm going to show you a few other tricks, and then we're going to go through some separate apps. So let me start at the beginning here. So when you're on the home page, like I said, you can search all these filters. You can look, this is our highlighted list right now, the summer reading list. We also have these lists down here too. We kind of move these around, summer apps for adults. Again, a lot of our adults with disabilities are kind of left out of a lot of those activities and things for the summers and camps and stuff like that. So we try to highlight those apps that we think will be most helpful during certain times. But we have this guy here that's not sure where to start. And you can go here and just view all of our list. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and also how to search there. So I love this because when this turns red, it reminds me that I'm on a different kind of search page. And in this part, you can only search through our list. So we did a project with Colorado Department of Voc Rehab a couple of years ago now, and we created some app lists for them specifically for transition. And what they wanted was for it to be available to anybody, not just their staff. And of course, we spent a lot of time with their staff training them on particular apps and things like that. But because they wanted to make them public and they wanted everyone to be aware, I love to share this because it's a great place to start if you've never used technology, you've never really thought about how apps might be used with the population with cognitive disabilities and those kind of things. So when you go to this search box, if you will just remember Colorado, you can type in Colorado and you're going to see the list that we created for them because they all start with Colorado DVR. So we did task analysis and all you have to do to see the whole list is to click on the name of it. So you can see all these different things. You can see that if you create an account, you can save it for yourself. You can always share it, even if you're not logged in. But we have a lot of these different kind of task analysis. Each list is not very long, but they're pretty robust, I guess, is what I like to think. So task analysis, enabling productivity. So again, we're helping people get jobs and we want to have tools for them that will help them keep doing that job well. So these are some text to speech and speech to text apps. On the next page, we have job search preparation. This is one of my favorite categories to look at because we, you know, again, they're probably are having teenagers myself. I will say they're not learning a lot of those job search skills anymore. How to make a resume, what a resume looks like, and I feel like for our population with disabilities, that can be even more true. So these are kind of things that can help them get started on that. Now, our transition team, every time I talk about this, they will always say, one of them in particular says, a lot of employers don't like these packaged resumes, these, fill in the blank kind of things. But for me, and as a parent and as a former teacher, I think that it's a great thing for them to practice with first. So some of these are like, it is just like a worksheet, just fill in the blank. And then they can see what's important to have on a resume and what's not. So your future possible employer doesn't need to know that you have a dog named Sparky or whatever. Like that's something you share later when you're getting to know that person, but it's not important for your resume. So just kind of helping them get that picture of what exactly do those possible employers, sorry, want to know about me. So I like these. And then there's another one I'm going to show you about job interviews pretty soon. And then we have it organization and executive functioning, so planning, those kind of things. And this one is my favorite because if you cannot keep the job because you lose your temper when things don't go your way, you've wasted all of that time and effort that you put into getting the job. So we do a lot of work with different kinds of ways to calm yourself, different ways to just regulate those emotions and learn to handle that, which we could all use help with at some point. And then also, once you get your paycheck, what are you going to do with your money? How do you manage that? Some of these are basic, like counting coins and counting dollar bills, if you still need that skill, and then also kind of budgeting and those kind of things. So again, these are not huge lists, but they're a good place for you to start if you really haven't, delved into how apps can help people. I'm going to show you this job interview one. This is one we really, really like. We actually discovered it during the pandemic. It was kind of perfect timing because people were all of a sudden starting to have to do remote interviews. And some of these young people, of course, had never been through a regular interview. So this one is one that includes realistic job interview situations. So it has questions that they might ask of you. It has just a way for you to just practice it. It is really, really neat. They put a lot of thought into this. You can see some of the things we wrote about it in the review is that it's beneficial to just help practice social skills. And as a parent with teenagers, we are very, very strict with technology, and we don't allow phones at the dinner table. We don't allow phones in restaurants, those kind of things. But that's not really the case with everyone. So a lot of our teenagers are not learning those basic social skills because they are looking at their phones and communicating through their phones rather than face to face. So this is one that really gives you a lot of different ways to practice those skills from wherever they are, whatever level they're on. Um, and again, talking about how to answer questions, what will give you the best chance of getting that interview. This one was reviewed by a 17-year-old who was preparing for interviews, and she really had some anxiety about it and just felt like it really helped her do better. In the interview. So again, just a great one. We have all the same information here. You can see this one is also only available for Apple, so iPad and iPhone. That is another thing about search. I'm going to go back to the main page and show you something when you're searching. So we work with a lot of people who just simply can't afford Apple devices because they are more expensive. So we have a lot of Android users, and we have a lot that we serve in person in our area. So one of the things we always tell people is if you are an Android user, or really any user, I mean, you don't want to find an app that's not available for Apple either. One of the great ways to filter to begin with is to go down here and filter out what you're looking for. So, if you're helping an Android user, or you are an Android user, mark Android first before you start choosing other filters. This web application is really new. What we've done is we have some of them that are only available for web, and then we have some where they've had the apps and they had a web application and we weren't able to show that, and now we are. So let's see, for instance, there is one, let's see where it fits. So like this one, Morphic. Morphic is a free, ooh, what's happened? That's not good. Let me check the Morphic website and see what's going on with that one. Morphic is a free, we've actually been working with the developer on this one. Morphic is a free accessibility toolbar. And anybody can add it, download it, and add it to their PC. And what it does, I actually have it here on my PC. So let me go down to a part that has reading, and I can, oops, sorry, not my chat. It's this little lizard looking guy. So when I click on that, you can see all these different options that pop up. And what you basically can do is any web page you're reading, you can highlight and click read. I'm not sharing sound right now, so it's not going to read it to you, but it does read it, I promise. So you can highlight things and click read. You can automatically increase the text size. It has a magnifier that pops up. So this magnifier comes up, and you can just take it around wherever you want to. Also the snipping tool. I love this snipping tool because as someone who's pretty tech savvy, I know how to create the shortcut for this on my toolbar. But a lot of users don't, and they need to copy and paste something. They might want to grab a picture of something or whatever. So this puts it automatically there for you, where you can you can select that part of the screen and make a quick screenshot of it. So lots of different ways to use it. Not sure why our link is messed up. I'm going to have to check on that, but it is a great tool. And again, just for anybody that might need a little bit of reading assistance or text size or whatever because of vision needs, it's a great tool. And that is one of them that we have that's web-based only. So there are more and more of them being put in. You can see right now only about 4 pages, but that's just something else to look at. Okay, so we did job interview and Morphic. So resume builder, this is one of those that I was talking about, where you have like a template. I'll show you the screenshots, and it kind of walks them through what they need to do, ask questions and things like that to help them build the resume. So again, you can save lots of them. I just think it's really helpful as a mom. Like I would want my kids to kind of have this tool to support them while they're learning, what to do, because it can be very overwhelming to look at that blank sheet of paper and not know what to share about yourself. Another one that, oh, hold on, let's do Learning Ally. Just because if you are working with people of any age, actually, that have reading disabilities, why is this not working? What is happening? I'm so sorry. Something there. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Um, Apparently part of our site is down because there's no way that both of those have just disappeared. Learning Ally is a really good audiobook service. If you work with people with disabilities, like I said, any diagnosed reading disability, which they, it's dyslexia, all those kind of things, but they also take into account physical disabilities where you might not actually be able to hold a physical book and turn those pages. So they consider that a reading disability, and you can use this. The great thing about it is that for students K through 12, it is free. Parents can make an account and just give, for my daughter, I had the dyslexia specialist write us, there's a form she filled out and she signed, yes, she does have dyslexia, and she's able to use this until she graduates from high school. Past high school, you can pay, I think it's $150 a year. It is in the review if I could get to it, but it's not very expensive considering what audiobooks can cost per book. And the great thing about it is that it is an ebook and an audiobook combined. So like my daughter was a very reluctant reader, but she loved Harry Potter when she was in third grade, and that's when she was first diagnosed. And she was able to listen to the words as she followed along, and they highlighted. So the great thing about that was that if she saw a word she didn't understand and she heard it, she didn't know what it meant, and she could see the print, then she would stop and say, she would ask me, or it has a dictionary function on it where you can look up what that word is. The other great thing that I love about this is that they are really high quality audiobooks. So the example of Harry Potter, they have all these accents and it's different actors doing the voices. So it's like exactly what you would want in an audiobook. It's like closing your eyes and listening to the movie. So it's not the just computerized text to speech voice. So it is a very, very good tool. She actually loves reading now, and she is going into 8th grade, and she does still use Learning Ally quite a bit, but she also now is more confident and able to read, paper books too. But that love of reading really came from her ability to be able to use this. And if you've ever worked with a child with dyslexia, they can be very reluctant and stubborn. So this is just a great tool, again, for people of any ages. They can use it for free, but then once they're out of school, it is very, very low cost for the quality of the books that you're getting. Okay, this is probably a good part to stop and ask questions, and then I'm going to go back to the main site and show you a few other resources. Is there anything, Colleen?
Julie made a comment that she was playing around with the site, and when she looked at some of the apps, like it also offers other suggestions that are like similar to the app that you chose. So that's a pretty
Yes.
cool tool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yes. Oh, good. I forgot to point that out. Thank you. The other
Especially
thing I
if
just
like you find out like the one that you were talking about with the task analysis and stuff, like I have an Android. So if,
right.
I was like, ooh, I'm gonna get that for my kids because I was thinking about chore charts and stuff for the kids. And then I was
Yeah.
like, okay, well, I can't use that one. So that would be a good example of that's what I want, but I need something that fits my needs a little bit more.
Right.
So
Right.
Yep.
that's a cool tool.
Yeah,
like
and
my
go ahead.
I'm sorry, it's just my son is 22 years old, and some of them were, I thought, well, that's really great, but it's a little too young for him, but maybe there's
Mhm.
something else more in his age range.
Yes, yes, we do try to do those, kind of related suggestions, because one thing we have learned, and it gets reiterated to us in lots of different ways, is that there is no one app that's best for everybody. People will say, like, what's your favorite app for whatever? And, we do have our favorites. We do have things that we like personally, we use more than others, but we never say this is the best app for task analysis or the best app for navigation. You know, there are some really great navigation apps now that can, now they all integrate walking and bus schedules and things like that. And again, if you have that, transition age person that is not going to drive, but they do need to get to a job and get there in different ways, then we teach people like, here's this one might work, maybe this other one doesn't work. So there's definitely no best answer when it comes to apps. So we love to try to offer, lots of possibilities. I am going to go to our main site. And this is where we started. And I want to show you again, we have all these kind of community pages. We have our services here. If you're in Houston ever, you're welcome to come by and see us. We do run an open lab where people can come and try out different apps and different devices. We have a lot of these more expensive apps loaded on iPads and things like that. But I wanted to show you our YouTube page. Because we have some created playlist here that might be really helpful. So if you go here to our playlist, then you can see all these different subjects we've really created them around. This one is working with transition students, so she has lots of different things in there. One of my coworkers does a lot in high schools and things with transition age students. We have this Did You Know playlist that I think is really, really great. So I'm going to show you the playlist. And what we did here is we do spend a lot of time focusing on apps, but there are also a lot of really great built-in tools in your devices for Android and Apple. So we have a little intro here. So there are 21 videos total, including the intro. And what we did is we took each basic topic that we get asked about the most, and we made a video about it. So enlarging your font, we made a video for Apple and one for Android. What I really like about the way we do videos, just my teacher brain, just my teacher heart loves it, is that we do a lot of really clear screenshots, and none of our videos, these instructional kind, are ever over about 3 minutes long. So they're 2 to 3 minute videos. They tell you what you need to know, and then they stop, so there's not too much like what I'm doing right now. There's not too much talking and extra stuff. Our older population really, really loves it because they can pause and rewatch things. Obviously, our young people with disabilities, everybody really, can benefit from the video kind of format. So we have volume and notification, screen brightness, using voice assistant, so Siri or Hey Google. The wireless accessories, like how do I connect a Bluetooth? We have a lot of people that say, I've seen people with these earbuds and they're not connected to anything. How does that work? How do I connect it? These simple things that aren't helpful to you if you don't know how to use them. Contacts, opening a QR code, scanning. Scanning has been a huge, huge thing for us for a long time. And again, during the pandemic, it really came into focus again. Both types of phones are capable of scanning documents and saving them as PDF documents where they are easily printed. If you take a picture of a document and send it as a picture, it's not going to print very well for the person on the other end. So again, just those kind of basic things, even the medical ID features and how to use their basic app stores and play stores. So this is just a really great playlist to share with people. That might, just not know everything their phone can do, and there's no way we could do everything. But these are the ones people ask us about a lot. The other playlists we have that are really helpful, we have these two actually. This Wellness with Brittany series is all of these basic yoga and stretching and breathing and those kind of things. She helped us create this during the pandemic. One thing we really focused on when she was creating this is that she talk to our physical therapist about what different people might need, depending on if they are, people who do not have the use of their legs and may be sitting a lot in a wheelchair. What do they need to work on? Building core strength and those kind of things. So this is a great one. And the last one is about apps. This is one of my favorites, and my annoying voice is on here. If you watch any of these videos, a coworker and I split these up and made them. So this one again has 21 videos also. There's an intro, and then we have all of these different apps related to taking care of your physical and mental health. So some things about journaling, getting your steps in. We've talked to a lot of people during the pandemic who said, I was inside, I felt myself kind of being more blue. And so we taught them about connecting that. I got out and took a walk today and I felt much better the rest of the day versus those days when you don't leave your house or you don't leave your couch, and your steps are really low. So just those kind of things, medication management, memory care. My House of Memories is a memory care app, lots of different caregiving, those kind of things. So again, these are all 2 to 3 minutes long. And, it's all just a bunch of free resources that you can share with families that you work with, and then also hopefully help for yourself. I'm sure everybody needs a little calming sometimes when you're working. Um, and then since we have a minute or two, I want to show you this one last app. Hopefully it will come up. I'm not sure what's happening with our database here today. I'm going to have to dig into the back end of it when we get done with this. Yeah, it's not working either. So I'm going to show you the video part of it. So this one, I'm just going to show you, let you see a screenshot. Yeah, this is one that has my voice. So we're definitely not going to listen to it. You'll have to listen to that on your own. But this one is called Plum Village Zen Meditation. And it is a free app that teaches the basics of meditation. And I know for me, I was like, oh, meditation, that sounds like really I'm not sure if I want to get into that. But what it does is it teaches things like mindful eating. I'm the worst for sitting at my desk and eating lunch while I work. And that is really not good for us. I was a teacher. I was used to getting whatever lunch I could really, really quickly before I had to get back to class. So just to give you an idea of kind of how the videos are, this one, you can see this one has screenshots. So all of these we did, if they were available for both platforms, we kind of showed you this was in the Android and the Google Play Store, and this is in the Apple Store. And then we give you some ideas about how to use it and information that they have in there. This one has a great just basic lessons. And the best part is that all of these videos and audio recordings are done by monks and nuns. So for me, the minute I start listening to it, I sort of just relax because they just have that calming presence. And they have stories for children. They have meditation for sleeping, just lots of different things. And this app is free. There are no hidden costs in it. You can put it on an iPad, an iPhone, Android. So it's just a great tool that everybody can use. There is a place on there where you can donate money if you choose to, but they never ask you for any money. So we love those kind, for our population. So, we have all the features we like most. This whole playlist is built this way, where we're going to tell you all these different things important about it to get started with it. And even give you some little, I think there's a little audio clip here of what you can hear what it sounds like with the nun talking. So lots of good resources for you there on our YouTube page. Okay, Colleen, any questions or anything else you want me to cover before we finish up? Specific kind of app?
There's no questions in the chat. Does anybody have any questions or comments or anything like that?
No.
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to show you, this is my contact information. Sorry, I just did that backwards. We're just going to have to slip to it. But you're welcome to contact me. We do, a lot of in-person things, but we also do a lot of remote. We are almost always every day on the phone with somebody remotely or on a web call trying to explain something to them, how to teach them how to use something. That is just what we do. We want to serve people. So you're welcome to contact me directly. And I can help if I can help with anything. I'll go ahead and stop sharing so I can see everybody's faces. And I can put my email there in the chat if needed. But anything else, Sharon?
That
Oh,
was
go
very
ahead.
informative. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Yes, Sharon?
No, I just think it was great. I really appreciate you taking time, and we definitely
Yes.
will be sharing this with other people that weren't able to be on this morning. So
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
And if you have parents that are just, like, I have no idea where to start, or maybe even sometimes people come to us and say, okay, I'm ready to get my child a device. All their friends have iPhones. What do they really need? Or is the iPad the only thing they can get? And so we like to talk to people about, an iPad is amazing, but maybe you don't need all those features. Maybe an
Right.
Android tablet will work for what your child needs. If you're just doing audiobooks or you're just playing games or watching movies. So we like to try to fit people with what's going to work best for them, and not and to save money or to spend within their budgets. So we're happy to talk to people about those kind of things and help however we can.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for joining us, and thank you, Amy, again.
Yes, thank you, Amy.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
All righty. Take care, everybody.
Okay,
Thank
bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.